Good evening, good evening, good evening. What's good, player?
What up, dog? What up?
Not much, man. We took a long time off, took a hot little hiatus, man. What's going on with you?
Hey, we did kill him, man. Hey, you needed that time away, I guess, to get your mental right.
Hey, you already know, man. Hey, when you've been doing this every week, man, and we gotta keep coming with things. But I'm ready, man. I feel like we got a few things to talk about. The season recap. Everybody, I ain't even gonna say everybody, because it'd be sounding like people really be listening. But I know we talked about, like, we're gonna talk about, what we thought about the season, kind of what we are looking for next year, kind of our experiences this year. I took a whole year off, so on the competitive side, I don't have much to say on that side. But on all the other things, like seeing shows in and out and seeing other people compete, I think I got a few things to talk about.
Hey, cool, cool.
All right, so um, just let's run some announcements, man. We got to thank uh, his name. You talked to him, CF Ninja, or what's his real name?
Adam.
Adam. All right. Sorry,
Yeah.
Adam. I'm supposed to do research, but I'm horrible. So, Adam, we truly appreciate, we have the artwork that he made for us. So we'll be using this graphic going into next year, even on some apparel maybe coming up soon. So, thank you, Adam. This is super dope. Like I said, even the custom chulas that I bought that year, man, you even got it down to the detail of those. That is absolutely amazing. And we
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you for that artwork going into that. But I guess the first thing that I want to talk about, man, I think from the competitive landscape, from what we've seen this year, we've seen a big burst of something that happened this year, right? We've seen a lot of people compete. But I think the most prevalent thing that's been pretty big, which, like I said, we're not going to go too far into it, is that natural bodybuilding as a whole is just growing at an alarming rate. And a lot of people thought we were dying out the past few years, like, oh, numbers aren't what they're supposed to be. But I think this year in particular, we've seen like a huge influx on, either people wanting to be natty or people saying they're natty and, doing that. Like now with the NPC jumping into the landscape of natural bodybuilding, I think they hinted at it last year. But actually being loud and boisterous about their natural tested shows. So how do you feel about that, man?
I mean, it's cool, I guess. I still question some of the athletes that step on that stage, but hey, it's cool. Good for them and good for the people, that's going over there, trying it out. I would love to talk to somebody, an athlete that actually done the, you know, Ben Weeder show or whatnot to see how the polygraphing went and to see how the urine testing went. Um, as of right now, I have no plans on competing over there. But like I said, shout out to all the athletes that's taking advantage of that, man. It's a real big movement going on right now. So
Yeah, for sure. And I like kind of the same thing with you. I seriously want to know, even the ones that's not been weeder, right? I want to know like the ins and out of the people who's competing at their local natural tested shows. I know there's one local to here in Charlotte, so I definitely um, might check it out next year. Just see what the competition look like. Just kind of see what it's about. I mean, as a whole, I support natural bodybuilding, so I definitely want to see what it's like. Um, but other than that, man, I know the landscape of I usually speak at home first, right? Is the OCB where I mainly compete. Like the competition this year, man. At first, in the beginning of the year, everybody was just like, "Oh, this looks like a slow year, right?" But I think after the Yorton, man, so much has been flipped upside down. So many things have turned um, in order to, as most say, build the momentum for the 2025 Yorton. So what are your thoughts on 2025 Jordan? I know it done woke up the dog in you, but what are your thoughts on the 2025 Jordan? Are you excited? The prize money we all know went up. If you don't know, they're passing out $77,000 next year. But what's your mindset on the Jordan this year and next year? Well, we already talked about this year, but next year, what is your mindset going into that? Do you think they'll surpass the numbers they passed in the past?
I was hoping you was gonna keep talking because I got this loud ass fucking dump truck. Can you hear it or not?
It's just a little bit. You know, I could have rambled, but I didn't want to keep going.
I was hoping you was, but nah, man. Me personally, uh, 2025 will be an interesting year for me, man. I got a plan for sure. Um, and I just think it's going to be a fun year for me. I will be back at the Yorton to get my title back. That's for sure. And as far as the numbers for the Yorton next year, it I think it just all depends on what people seen this year. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but some people got question marks. As far as how some of the judging went at the Yorton this year, so that may deter some people from coming back next year. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So, but other than that, man, me personally, I know I'll be back, and I'm excited for it.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's what just about every show. Like I know there's other shows where people are like, oh, I'm thinking about that one, right? So I think it's always going to be on the ticker. And to be honest, for every one person that gets discouraged, there's probably 5 or 6 other people that's going to show up in either way, right?
No,
Um,
absolutely, and that's a good thing because I mean, let's just say I did discourage some people from competing at the Yorton. Look what just happened to me. So that's probably giving them, motivation and confidence that they can come in and do
knock
some
your head
damage
off.
next year. But
Knock your head off.
no.
Nah, I think, but like I said, I think it's going to be one of those things. And I think even speaking to Sully, man, that gave us a huge insight on um, kind of the ins and out of what he's looking to do next year. I know he said it very loudly that he's the one promoting next year. And there's
Right.
changes that we know that he wants to go in and make, even though it's a team of people who promote it. But I know he spoke about some of the changes and some of the things that he wants to do and make it the ultimate experience. Because, like I said, no matter what shows I have gone to, I've been to plenty of them. The experience of the Yorton has always been, it's always been this big aura around it, right? You walk in,
Mm,
you know you're going to go against, some of the best guys, and hypothetically, if people want to say it's not the best, because people have that's subjective for the people. Even if you don't go against the best guys, you're going to go against enough guys to say, "Hey, I earned this." Because
yeah,
some shows they say it's less people but better guys, but I haven't seen multiple shows that can top that show. Like I said, I've been
absolutely.
competing for a while.
And just
Uh,
just one thing I wish they would have done going into next year for the Yorton. I wish they would have flip flopped the days. I wish they would have had the guys go on Saturday and then the females go on Sunday, but they got it again where the females are going on Saturday and the males are going on Sunday. So I just wish they would have, flip flopped it, but
so you telling
hey,
me Sugar is dead? That's what you're saying?
sounds like it to me. But hey, so how do you feel, man? How was the landscape watching it from, I guess, you're still a competitor, but you wasn't actively competing this year. So how did you feel about the landscape this year?
Man, I loved it, honestly. And a lot of people, I gotta quit saying that because a lot of people don't be talking. Let me quit lying. But when I looked at it this year, there were people who were anticipating that I was competing all the way up until show day. Even though I said it multiple times on our platform, and if y'all didn't hear me say it, then y'all need to subscribe. Let's talk about it now on YouTube. But I spoke about it very openly that I wasn't competing. The people still anticipated me competing. Um, I loved every moment of it. And I think it was just because I got to show a different side of me. I didn't have to show them the competitive side of me at the show. And I actually love that aspect of it. Like at every show I went to, it's almost like I wasn't in that mind frame of me versus them. And it usually isn't, right? So I think with this year is more so I could give that encouragement and actually show people who I truly am as to they know the competitive side of me. Because the competitive side is nothing different. It's just like I'm just too locked in to usually speak until after the show's over with. So I got to actually see kind of the inner workings of what happened at the Yorton, the inner workings of the judge, and the inner workings of the promotion, like going to the check-in room and just being able to experience all that stuff from just a spectator standpoint. And it was dope. And like I said, there wasn't no pressure on me. There wasn't no anticipation. So it wasn't like I was walking on eggshells. And like, usually I know when I'm competing, I'm just in and out. Like I'll go and check in and that's it. Like I don't care to hang around. I don't care to stand around. But actually seeing the production overall of it, I was like, oh, this is pretty dope from a spectator standpoint for people who probably don't know what any of this is. From the competition landscape, hey, I'm excited. Hey, it got me hyped. I've been said it, like I'm competing next year. I'm gonna be happy to be back. Like I trained all year long. I'm excited, man. Like I feel like next year will definitely be the year for the cream to rise to the top. Like you're gonna have to bring your A game for, and that's including myself. I got to bring my A game if I even want to, place in that top five, because this top five this year was amazing. So we'll see what the top five look like next year. See what gets shaken up.
All right. So, what's the biggest benefit you think you've gotten from taking the year off?
Mental clarity.
I know. Okay, mental clarity. I know. Well, not personally, but I see some people, they take a year off and they didn't gain anything in that year.
Yeah.
So
I think mostly for me, like I said, mental clarity. That's the most important thing for me. I think when you're constantly stuck into that locked in competition mode, you can get stuck in it, and it could either be negative or positive. I think for me, by me being able to step away from that mindset for a little bit, and I always told my coach, I think I told him this 2 years ago. I said it on our lives, like I never did a prep 100%, never, like ever, and it sounds bad, but like I'm not saying like I cheat all the time or anything like that, but like bro, like I think me and you both said this. We always wonder what would happen if we, was 100% on our macros, did 100% of our cardio, did 100% on every rep, like what the potential of what our physiques can possibly be. And I had to tell my coach, like 1 year when I stepped back, I was just like, dude, I want to get away from the stage so long until I miss it, so I don't take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what the year off did for me. Like I missed the stage. It ain't like I want to go get on it tomorrow, but it's one of those things of like, now I know, like, one, I also tell my athletes, like, hey, if you want to grow, you got to take time off, but who better to show them that example of taking a year off than, the person who coaches them and seeing how it could be beneficial to them. Because we can tell you the stage ain't going nowhere, and I do 6 shows every year. I look crazy because I'm not progressing, but I'm telling you to do that, right? So
Right.
I think for me, it gave me the mental clarity of like, hey, like taking a year off, I lost nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I think people still know who I am. People still know my name. And it's like, ultimately, I feel like I gave people time to miss my physique. Now, granted, I posted.
That boy talking that talk. He said people still know his name. That boy talking that talk.
Nah, I think it's one of those things where I think I wanted to get missing long enough for people to miss my physique, right? Because when you see a certain physique, or when you see a physique over and over and over, it's almost like, it's like if a NBA basketball player dropping 35 every night, you're just like, oh, he's just nice, right? It's like, all right, that's the daily. But I think I wanted to get missing, and I think it showed when I posted something after a year of what I look like, and people was just like, heck is this? Like, this dude been working. So I'm excited to be back. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I'm been rambling too long.
Nah, that's dope, man. I'm excited to have you back next year, man. And we had our little thing we did last year, so hopefully we can get that going back next year, man, because it was lonely out here in these streets, dog.
Yeah, I was waking up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, man, just talking to you. He's like, bro, I've been worked out. I ate 3 meals. I'm at Walmart now. It's 7 o'clock, bro. Like, my bad.
I'm telling you, man, it was lonely out here in these streets this year, dog.
But I guess on to other news, man. We have we've seen a lot of the championship shows, and I gotta say, man, when I say the upper echelon, the top tier natural physiques, I love to see it, dude. Like, and that's across organizations. That's WBF, that's PNBA, that's IPE. Like, I love to see it. Like I said, and I was supposed to look deeply into, and we could name off and list off every champion if we wanted to. But I think for the most part, if you do your research and go look at these people who's winning these natural shows, every time I hear somebody say, oh, that person can't be natural, or natural bodybuilding isn't a real thing, or all this stuff, is like, bro, like, apparently y'all ain't looking around. Because if you get into the circle of what natural bodybuilding is, the guy who won WNBF, the bodybuilder guy, the guy like Magnum, then you look at the guy who won IPE. Like, if you just go down the line of all the top bodybuilders and then look at all the top men's physique guys, You know what? Shout out to Dex because I was supposed to get him on here, but shout out to Dex, Mr. Two-time IPE World Champion over there. So it's like all these different physiques, man. And I know we talked about it once of wanting to, one day, hopefully, fingers crossed, do this invite only show where we can invite the best of the best, the people who's winning these championship shows to battle it out on one stage, unbiased, no organization ties. I think that would be the most amazing thing if it could ever happen. Even if it don't happen while I'm competing, I would love to see it happen. I come across the lottery, bro. I'm putting that show on in the middle of somewhere.
No, absolutely. And just to, piggyback over what you said, some of these people I see, I do scratch my head though, bro. I don't care what you say. I'm like,
I ain't see that. I ain't see who you're talking about there. Let's see it that way.
Oh man, some of the ones I see that get posted, I'm like, oh, okay. They must play by different natural rules than everybody else.
Now I know what you're talking about. All right, go.
Oh man.
And then, but on top of that, man, I know I wanted to do this. I want to send a huge shout out to two very special ladies. They both won. I think Kristen, as we know, she was a friend of the show. Y'all don't remember? Go watch this episode. Let me find it. Watch this episode with Kristen. She plays third at the Yorton this year. I think she plays.
She big time now. Big time.
She plays third last year, right? Third and third.
I thought it was third. I thought she got second this year.
All right, so second last year.
I may be mistaken.
All right, let's just say second. It sounds better. So she got second last year and third this year. And then
she's been in the top 3 the past 2 years. Well, let's just put it that way.
Boom, top 3 for the past 2 years. Shout out to her. She went off to do Ben Weeder and earned her the illustrious IFBB Pro card. Congratulations to her. If we had the hand emojis, we'll clap it up for her. Also,
bye.
Maddie McConnell, who also won, I think, Miss America figure as well this year, and won the Yorton. She went off and won her pro card as well in the IFBB. Congratulations. I think it's always dope for people to test their limits. They say they want to test their limits and they go compete. And as people want to say, the higher card, hey, do what you got to do and have we wish you all the best luck for that because we'll be watching because I think every natural person wants to see what our top elite people look like against those people. And I think that's the one thing about it is, and ultimately it makes me happy to see it because whenever people say, oh, y'all can't compete against us or y'all can't compete at a local show or blah, blah, blah. The top level natural pros can be competitive in the NPC. Uh-oh, Men in Black shades. What you got for me?
I'm just listening to you talk, man. Go ahead, dog. I felt like throwing some shade, but I ain't gonna do it, man. I'm taking the higher road these days.
I love the transformation Jamal Williams is making. I love it. I'm trying to think of what else we had on the ticker. So yeah, I think we have been speaking very very positively about the season. But I know there were a few things we talked throughout the season that we wanted to see. And the crazy thing is most of these things started happening without us saying anything. So I think that's huge, right?
Somebody's listening.
And I think it was like the one thing we always used to talk about was that pros will go elsewhere and compete because there's not enough pro shows. And I mean, there's a bunch of pro shows in different organizations and things of that nature. And then when the NPC came in, a lot of people like, hey, I'm gonna go just compete there because it's another place to compete, especially if you're a OCB pro or just a pro in general. So seeing them, huh?
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so seeing them actually add pro shows to the schedule, kind of made me happy this year. I saw a few of them that kind of caught my eye, so I think that's going to be big next year to see who steps out and who's going to try to go win those titles for the first time or just compete at those shows.
Right, and I know we talked about it a little bit. Pros are going to go where they are appreciated and not tolerated. So let's keep that in mind too. So, I mean, promoters, if you're putting on a shitty show and like the pros are just gonna go elsewhere. So that's one thing to keep in mind, man. I know it's your job to, make it a fun experience for the pros and you trying to make some money also, but just put the money back into your shows and make it somewhat delightful.
Facts. Um, I really don't want to follow that out with a shout out. So we're gonna talk a little bit, then I'll do my shout out because I can't follow that up with a shout out. Like, nah, I can't do that to the
Nah, and then one thing I thought about, what I thought about, man? You know how no, hear me out. This may sound kind of wild, but you're gonna get it right. You know how the judges score the athletes, right? We get scored or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What if the athlete started scoring the promoter on how well the show was, right? What if that was a thing? And then, if you get 3 failed freaking grades in a row, they give you the boot or something. I mean, something like that should be put in place, man.
Like, I get where you're going. You're working on something. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to if I was a promoter, I'm gonna put myself in the shoes, right? If I was a promoter, I wouldn't mind having a Google form sheet or a survey sheet that I send out to my athletes. Like, hey, what did you enjoy about the show? What would you like to see? All the things, because I think as a promoter, and I think we know a lot of promoters who think the way we think. So it's like their goal is to basically make their show better than last year for the ones we know. Like I said, I don't know which one you're talking about. I don't want to know, so you just don't tell me. But it's one of those things where every promoter that I know and I have been to their shows, it gets bigger and better the following year. So I wouldn't be opposed, if I was a promoter, to send out like a survey, like a thank you email and then a survey at the end, like, hey, what did you like about the show? Was there any dislikes, any concerns, blah blah blah? Because it makes it more personable, but then it also shows you where you can improve on the next year too. Probably make your show a premier show. Like, we know the premier shows, but what's going to make your show stand out next to the next person, right?
Right. No, absolutely.
So no,
absolutely.
So yeah, now I can get my shout out because I wasn't gonna give nobody a shout out after they talk about Bat Show. Shout out to Brian, man. I met Brian in 2023. Yeah, 2023. He was over the Windy City show out in Chicago. Amazing guy. And now he's officially part of the OCB family. He will be doing the Windy City Natural as an OCB show this year. So if anybody's looking for a show, that show is an amazing show. And I got to go, walk around Chicago. So that made it even better. But shout out to Brian, welcome. But yeah, I really enjoyed the show. That's the show I got my first belt, my first and only belt at. So I don't know if he's doing belts, but it is definitely a great show.
Well, if he doing belts, he need to step his game up because these two beauties back here. Let me shout out. Well, by the one and only Bobby Covino.
Hey, what you're not gonna do? What you're not gonna do is,
if you don't,
what you're not gonna do is
5 below belt off and then put it back on that shelf.
Hey, don't be coming.
That boy went to 5 and below and got that belt, man. Come on, dog.
Official, bro.
Nah, it is nice though. Let me see it.
Bro, you roast my belt, I put it back up here, bro. I ain't gonna pick it up, man. You got me jacked up, bro. My belt over here, God, I gotta look like a boxer. I know you too well.
Oh shit!
I know you too well, player. You ain't got me. But
man,
welcome, Brian. Like I said, happy to have you, man. It was a pleasure meeting you 2 years ago or a year ago. But yeah, what else do we have on the ticker, man? I think we spoke about a lot of things. But going into the next year, I think the things that we definitely want to get into. I really enjoyed. I think this is like our 3rd season. I think I really enjoyed last year when we were able to actually meet these promoters, really get the promoters to talk. and get them to speak about their shows. I think that really helps with the camaraderie of the natural world, just because athletes kind of want to know what's going on at these shows. Um, and usually support comes easier when they know who they're, well, not really supporting, but who's behind the madness of the shows and things of that nature. Um, I definitely want to keep athletes, and then also our coaching series that does pretty well every year. We are still looking for coaches to interview at the top of the year, probably as early as January, just to kind of put these newer athletes on notice. Like I think by us spreading this information about quality coaches, about getting ready for the season before the season starts, I think that's really where these knowledgeable coaches can help us at in January.
Absolutely. And for any promoter that's listening, if you have live stream, me and Eric would love to come and do live commentary. I think we'll be great for that, man.
I'll even wear a suit. I'll wear a suit and a tie.
Me too. Hey, a suit and tie. Look real professional. Real professional.
Oh yeah, and we're also let's talk about is also looking for sponsorships. So if you need any of your brands promoted, your shows, anything, send the Venmo and we got you.
We'll post it at the bottom of the chat. You know exactly where to send it to. But with that said, man, I know there's a couple more shows left this season, and then OCB takes a short break. They're back up in January. The first show is Slash Show, which is always near and dear to my heart because that's where I went pro at. So that'd be I think it's like the second week of January or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm just excited to see what these other organizations are got next year too. I know USBF, their championships is moving down to Daytona next year. So that should be interesting. I just got put on, what is it, NFFF this year?
Mm-hmm.
Eric Murphy was telling me about that. I can go compete in Masters over there, you know?
Got them full gray now, so you might as well.
Boy, I'm telling you, man. Jesus Christ. All the stress from damn competing. Who else, man? WNBF, they're their own animal. Their worlds look crazy over the weekend, like just straight up crazy, man.
You got IPE, you got ANBF.
Shouting out people, man. Let me send a special shout out to Jay Wright. He, if I'm not mistaken, he's 3-time IPE world champion and 4-time Mr. America. So that is unheard of. So shout out to you, Jay, man. Keep doing your thing, dog.
Speaking of, before I don't want to interrupt that, but what's some notable athletes from this year that kind of rang a bell, bro? Like that really stood out. They jump off the paper at you. You don't have to know complete stats. You could just kind of go off of who jumped off the paper at you. Like one, I think that has to be known as Derek, right? Derek went on a tear, won I think 6 or 7 shows this year, and then ultimately finishing that with the Yorton Cup. He won No Gear. He won the Showtime Classic, and he won a classic show, right?
Yep.
Won a classic show. Like he did a lot this year. So shout out to Derek. Also did the show twice, friend of the show. So shout out to him. Maddie, Kristen, they both had very dominant seasons. Liz, who also went and won, I think, Mr. America and the Yorton in women's physique. Anderson, who won for the pro and
which I always say, yo, people sleep on Anderson, and y'all should not sleep on Anderson, man. Anderson is the only person I don't care where it is. Anderson's gonna pull up to a show, man.
He's gonna roll right out of bed and walk into there, no tanning off, but he's gonna come and knock heads off, man. Anderson, big shout out to you. 2 major
Mr.
wins.
America champion. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 major wins this year. Like I said, he's quietly collecting all the Infinity Stones, man. So I'm waiting to see who's gonna collect all of them first.
One athlete that I like, I really do admire his physique. and I'm not going to say he's underrated or flying under the radar. I just don't think he's getting the love that he actually deserves and earns. Is freaking D-Moore, man. D-Moore was on the show. He competes in IPE. He has a hell of a physique, bro. He comes in conditioned like hell. So shout out to him, man. I think that's one athlete that kind of just like flies under the radar. So
yeah. And I think
go ahead.
I ain't gonna say he's underrated because he's not, but he's
no,
probably
not at all.
No, I'm talking about one of my favorite physiques. And I still talk to the man this day. He was on the show as well. Is Cabs Arnold. His physique is amazing to me. And then, like I said, he's gonna be. I said it, and like the good thing about him is the same way I speak publicly about him, I speak to other people about him. He will not be denied from too many more shows, and I would guarantee that. They put
because that package he brought at Ben Weider was crazy.
If they put a pro show in that man's vicinity, and y'all try to go step in his yard, y'all might as well go ahead and turn around like the postman, because that dog will get off the leash in his own backyard.
Right.
But yeah, those are some of the few people. Shout out to Jillian. She had a crazy season this year.
Yeah, she popped out at the end.
She had a good season.
Crazy.
But yeah, a lot of people had really, really great quality seasons. What else we have, man? It's just good to just talk shop after a while.
I'm trying to see what did some crazy shit happen this year, man. My mind's so fucking boggled up. Yeah, I don't think anything really interesting happened this year, man, to be honest with you. So, okay, I got one for you.
Uh-oh.
Who should we look out for next year? Name a couple competitors that we should be on the lookout for next year.
Let's see. Any category?
Yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. I'm gonna just go off of names I know and people I probably know. But you also know I ain't gonna blow smoke either. So if I say it, then I mean it. I think in men's physique, Cabs for sure. The one excitement I have for next year, of course, is the return of hopefully 4 of the 6 Yorton Cup champions. I think it's 7. 4 of the 7 Yorton Cup champions competing on the same stage. I would love to see that if that happens, i.e. me, Corey Killer, Derek, and Marcus, if you guys are listening. Let's dance. but I think that would be dope. Classic physique. I definitely want to see. I want to see you back in your element, bro. I want to see you. You know, we have talked a lot offline, just as well, of course, a lot offline. I want to see you in your element. And I think I ain't gonna ever say you haven't been hungry, but I think you're gonna be starving this year. So
right.
I want to see what a starving Jamal looks like. I know some people who's popping out that I don't want to put them on blast. A bikini competitor that I know who's been putting in work. She's been placing getting to the finale of the Yorton the past 2 years. Ashley Jefferson, dope physique. I think she would definitely, and I think she just went pro in the WNBF as well. So I think she's going to be making a mark in the name in the bikini. Who else we have? I want to see if Jamie's going to bounce back. That's what I'm looking forward to. I want to see if Jamie bounce back in women's physique. I want to see if Magnum's going to go 5-time, and if he don't, who's going to push him?
Yo.
Man, fuck him, bro.
Oh, shit, bro, you on live right now, dog. Jesus. God, no, bro. Look, I was calling to hype you up because Eric said he's going to knock off your head this year, and you pick up the phone with that response. Bro, I'm going to go now. Hey, bye, man. Jesus, bye. Did you hear that?
I think we all heard that. Jesus. For anybody who don't know who that is, we're not going to tell you. Y'all just got to figure it out later. Don't say his name, Jamal. Do not say his name.
I'm not. I'm not. Jesus.
But other than that, she threw me all off script. But yeah, I'm excited to see who wins figure next year, just because we know it'll be a vacant title. So yeah, I'm excited, bro. Those are the people that I'm looking out for. Also, Dets. I can't wait to see what Dets does next year. So I'm waiting for that too.
Absolutely. Man, I think that's pretty much it. We didn't ramble for 35 minutes. Like I said, I think 2025 is going to be a special year for a lot of people. And one thing I know we haven't done in the past, because what we've been doing this for 3 years now, this show. Next year, let's try to get some amateurs on, man. Let them amateurs talk their shit, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, they deserve a little platform too, and we want to give it to them. So
Yeah, if we found an amateur that has a amateurs, if you have a real true story, like a quality story, we definitely want to promote that. Like, because I think there's a guy. He was my posing client too, and his name is just slipping my mind. But he had an amazing story. He actually competed in Tennessee, and they actually broadcasted his story afterwards. And like stories like that, I think needs to be shared, of why people got into fitness and even why people compete. So yeah, so amateurs, promoters, athletes, we're looking for you guys next year. We appreciate y'all for listening. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. Also, remember, y'all, champions are made in the off season. So just saying. Free plug, shameless plug. Hey, if you want a t-shirt.
Right. Absolutely.
But you got anything else, brother?
I do not have anything else, man. It's been a real joy doing this with you again. And I'll see you sometime in January. Like, we ain't gonna talk every day up until January, but
Well, until next time or next year, 2025. Last time.